Hey, so today I was commenting with a subscriber about something, and it's been something that I've been picking out recently. And let's call this video, I want it that way, Frustrations Double High. So he was talking with me about double high notes that can be apparent, and I want it that way. And what's interesting is that for the life of me, I can't pick out it going through the whole song, and I completely doubt that it's doing it the whole way. It would be way too obvious. And notice the difficulties we've been having with the Kevin harmony. Definitely what he's doing live. That ain't. That's not what he's doing there. So if there was a double high, would it be doing ain't? I don't think so, because you would hear that ain't. So ain't nothing but a ain't nothing but a. They'd be way too easy to hear. Especially higher notes are a lot easier to hear than lower notes. Yeah, but there are a couple of sections where there are double highs. I kind of wanted to save it for another video where I was gonna make it a I want it that way video to like solidify what's going on after I make a good enough time to study what's happening. But probably a good idea to show you what's up, okay? So there's a couple of parts where there are double highs. This is something I picked out in live performances. Now, let's talk about it. So, the high harmony is actually pretty easy to hear in this song. But what's very weird is that there's a double high part at the I want. And every live performance, like I didn't really notice this at first, especially live performances, because like with music and everything. Listen, both Backstreet Boys and NSYNC are guilty of this, of having a backing track. So they're not like full on lip syncing, but they have a little bit of a backing track to aid them. Especially with songs where there's a lot of music, like Larger Than Life. So they're huffing and puffing, especially NSYNC, because NSYNC does a lot of extreme dances, or a very quick paced and tiring dances. So yeah, so at the I want it that way, naturally you go I want it that way, and if you listen, it feels like it flows that way. So let's listen out. Please don't copyright this, it's just little clips. So if you listen to that, that sounds very easy to hear. That was an easy conclusion for me. I want it that way. I lowered it by one octave in hopes that it would help, but I heard that doesn't really help. Whatever. I'll play it a couple more times for you to hear. I want it that way. That's just a natural way you would sing the high harmony. Any other harmony is hard to hear in this section. But it does, when you listen to it at first listen, it does sound a little fatter than it would be if there was just one type of harmony, like excluding the 3-part that gives you that special ring that you're looking for. Yeah, so, but doing this for a while now, I should understand that Backstreet Boys, sometimes it's not that easy. Should have taken more time to study it. I mean, the first video I did, I literally just listened to live performances and a little bit to the tracks. I'm like, okay, it makes sense. But yeah, so this is the weird thing, okay? Every live performance, and even acapellas, I'm going to show you one. There's a double high there at the I, and it goes something like this. I want it that way. It's your typical Brian screwing around, fitting in a harmony, making up for melodies dropping down. You know what I mean? Like it just happens too often now. It's like a Backstreet Boys signature, you know? A guy that will stay straight to create another harmony, because people are dropping down, and it's just easier to do that, which I guess is interesting. Um, it's outside the box, what I like to say. So, so you have, sorry, I want it that way. But every live in acapella, you hear him stay straight, which will create a double high. Notice Kevin is definitely sticking with the melody there. I want it that way, I want it that way, right? So probably they're like, oh, we're missing that ring there, and it's easier to stay straight with a melody because it's just the way it is, the way the song goes. It's kind of trickier. You'd be going, I want, and it's just trickier. I want it that way. I want. So you just stay straight, and it creates that harmony. So, listen to this. This one like really solidified it for me. I'm like, oh man, it is there, isn't it? I remember hearing live performances, and I'm like, oh, maybe he's just doing that. And then I heard this thing, thanks to that guy who gave me that track. It's so there, bro. Let's listen. Sorry for lowering the octave again. It's just let's try to avoid it if we can. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep replaying the I part. Notice the I. Remember, naturally, I want it that way. I want it that way. I want it that way. I wonder if I ever heard an acapella. There's been like back in the day when I would listen out to Backstreet Boys videos, like I would spend hours of my life just looking up videos of them, especially 90s videos, and a lot of them just disappear. Like I remember there was this one video where they're in England. It was with this girl, the host of So You Think You Can Dance, and yeah, and there was a part where they did an acapella, and when I listened to that, I was like, oh, that sounds like Brian doing the high harmony, and that's why I did it. I mean, not high harmony, melody, and I thought AJ was doing the high harmony, but no, it's the other way around. Yeah, so anyway, well, AJ doesn't usually do high harmonies. That's something I learned. He's not generally a high harmony guy. Okay, so I'm gonna replay the eyes and listen carefully. Yeah, so hear that? The I want, I. Okay. Next, I'm not sure if the guy was talking about this part, the person I was commenting with, but it sounds like at the that way part, there's a double high there, just at the that way though, which is weird. But see, if there's that, oh, okay, hold on. In a second, I'll show you what I'm talking about. A good a cappella piece where you hear Brian doing what I was just talking about. But before I go there, see, I'm like, oh, if there's a double high, maybe there's a double high throughout the rest of the way. So like, I want it, like I want it that way. But you have to listen out to the that, it, that, want it, that, it, that. So that's something I'm gonna have to study. That. I feel like that'd be easy to hear though. I want it that. If you listen closely, there is that way. Kevin is just all around hard to hear in this song, which is frustrating. I don't like when people lower harmonies too much, especially when it's a harmony group. I wish it was just louder and it make the harmonized blend sound better. Yeah, so that's something I have to explore. If it's like I want it. I actually don't think he's doing that. Like the way Brian's doing it live, and maybe he's doing that because there's been songs where it just had to be Brian doing something and then copying something like larger than life. Where I was like, you can make it right, and that makes you larger than life. He's still copying Howie in that section. That makes you larger than life, right? So there's no way that he's doing something else. There's no way. So it's maybe just one of those complicated things where he does different things. In many songs, you can hear Brian kind of just fiddling around. You know what I mean? I always say Brian's the one who does the weird stuff. I wonder if he's the guy who just like contemplates like, oh, let's do something tricky here. Maybe that's what he does. I guess that makes him take pride in his work, huh? Okay, so let's listen to this acapella piece, and he does what I have just showed you.
I want it that way. Ain't nothing but a heartache. Ain't nothing but a fear. Somebody hear you say, hear you say, yeah. I want it that way. I want it that way.
Reason why I left the ain't nothing. I've been working on that. Someone asked me to do that. I'm curious myself. The way they perform it live isn't exactly how it's done in the track. There's some weird stuff going on there in the track. I think they just do it live wise because oftentimes there's too many vocals to even do it, you know? So sometimes there's too many vocals to the point where they have to try to find another way with the members they have. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's listen to that again. Brian doing it.
I want it that way. I want it. I want it. I want it.
So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna add I along with it, and then hear how it harmonizes.
They're not singing. I want it that way. I want it. 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 I want it.
See? Yeah, so that's interesting, right? So maybe there's two. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking there's I want it, because it just like you can just hear it, like it just flows with it. You know what I mean? Like when you follow the vocal, it just follows that. But then again, you know that bye thing that I did yesterday. But no, that makes more sense. Like the way I did it there, makes more sense. Like you got vocals jumping up. Anyway, never mind that. That's a different video. Yeah. And then we have that little end piece. The that way part took me off guard. Took me by surprise. I still have to study it because sometimes there's what I like to call a vocal illusion. There's also music. Sometimes what I like to do is if I hear a sound, I go to the official instrumental if I have it, and see if there's a sound that follows what a vocal would be doing, and then I try to conclude if it's a vocal or not. You got to pay attention to pronunciations along with the tones, which is really difficult because there's 5 or even more than 5 of the vocals saying the same thing. So let's listen out to what I'm talking about. See, it kind of sounds like someone's going that way, that. However, there was a very strong instrumental presence right there. That away, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like anyway, there's a strong instrumental presence there, so it's really hard to pick out. But it kind of sounds like someone's going that, like a double high, that away, that. Let's listen to it again. But you know what's weird? When they lower the octaves and things, that's a trick that I like to do. I don't hear it so well, but maybe it's just a weird case. I don't know. Keep in mind there is I want it that. So again, it's like one of those things where am I just confusing it with that? Because sometimes there's like, my brother and I like to call it a vocal illusion. When you have so many sounds together, you can hear like almost like a whisper of a sound that you think you might hear, but it's probably due to music. Like if you fiddle around with it, like you take the same track and you fiddle around with it, like you can hear that it's not there. You know what I mean? Anyway, so that's something I have to study. It kind of sounds like someone's going that away, but the thing is that I don't think the double low is present throughout the whole thing. Anyway, so yeah, more studying to do. Again, listen, the first video I did, that's exactly how they do it live. The song goes like that mostly. Like it's mostly that, but there's like little tiny little things that I need to study some more. Kevin's thing, I'm pretty certain what's going on. That live performance that I showed you in the last I Want It That Way video, that really helped a lot. Like you can hear what he's doing because the music stops. That's the actual track they threw on top. And yeah, I'm also trying to hear out if there's other vocals at the that way part, because if someone threw in a double high, maybe there's a double low, you know, like, oh, we're just gonna throw a lot of vocals in this section, maybe. So I'm gonna listen out for that. I've always felt like it was kind of fat there, and I hear a lot of lowness, but again, there is a strong instrumental presence in that section. Anyway, this video is getting too long. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate when you guys watch videos like this where I try to go back and re-examine. Yeah, so anyway, peace and love and ice cream cake. God bless. Have a nice day.